You know, we're all taught that success is about one thing: hitting the target, right? Getting that perfect bullseye. But what if that's completely backward? Today, we're going to dive into a really powerful Stoic idea that just flips that whole concept on its head. And it all starts with one simple but profound truth.
Just let that sink in for a second. Not hitting the target, but the act of aiming itself. Now, to really get this, we're going to unpack a classic story that just illustrates this mindset perfectly.
So, our story kicks off with a character who thinks he has it all figured out. He's a young, brilliant archer, and, well, his confidence is about to be put to the ultimate test.
And look, this wasn't just some empty boast. This guy was incredible. We're talking about hitting a coin from 100 paces away, that kind of skill. So in his mind, his talent was so absolute that the outcome wasn't just likely, it was a guarantee, something he felt he was entitled to.
So absolutely brimming with this confidence, he goes to a great Stoic master basically to show off. And he doesn't just say he's good, he says he can control the outcome. And that one word, control, that's everything. The master, of course, just kind of smiles.
The master knows that just talking isn't going to cut it here. He needs to show the archer, not just tell him. So he leads him away from that nice, predictable practice field to a place where control, well, it's just a complete and total illusion.
Picture this. The master brings him to the very edge of a jagged cliff. The wind isn't a gentle breeze. It is absolutely howling. A thick fog has rolled in so dense you can barely see your own hand. And then the master just points out into the gray abyss and says, "Shoot, hit the target." And right here, this is the moment of truth. On that calm practice field, his mind was so sure, I control this. But here, standing on the cliff, all that certainty just evaporates. He hesitates, and he complains, "The wind will take my arrow. There's no way I can control where it lands." And the master's response is just devastatingly simple. 3 little words that cut right through the archer's entire worldview. You never could. And he wasn't just talking about the cliff. He was talking about every single shot that archer had ever taken. See, the master explains that even on the most picture-perfect day, the idea of control is just an illusion. The target could move at the last second. A bird could fly into the arrow's path. Heck, your own bowstring could snap. You never really had control in the first place. So, if you can't control the outcome, what can you control? What's left? Well, this is where we get to the absolute heart of the master's lesson. The master tells him that his frustration, his anger, it's not coming from the wind or the fog. It's coming from his belief that he is entitled to the bullseye. He feels like the universe owes him that result because of his skill. But the Stoic knows the outcome is never, ever yours to claim. So what is the archer's actual job? It's not to hit the target. It's to execute the process perfectly. That's it. It's to pull the string back with just the right tension, to make sure his stance is solid, grounded, and balanced, and to release that arrow with clean, perfect form. That is the entire job description. And this brings us to that final, crucial step. You have to let it go. The moment that arrow is released, your work is done. It doesn't belong to you anymore. It belongs to physics, to chance, to the wind. Your responsibility has ended. Now, this is a fantastic story, right? But its real power, its real magic is when we start to apply it to our own lives. This isn't just some dusty old philosophy, it's a practical guide for how to live and work today. You might even call it focusing on the process over the outcome. So, let's make this personal. What's the bullseye in your world? What's that outcome you feel you're entitled to? That result you were desperately trying to control? You know what I'm talking about. Maybe it's that promotion at work, or getting a certain number of views on something you've created. Maybe it's trying to force a relationship to work out, or just willing an investment to go up. These are our modern-day targets, and just like the archer's bullseye, we ultimately can't control them. You can't force your boss to promote you, but you can focus on the process of doing excellent work every single day. You can't force people to watch your content, but you can build a system for making the best stuff you possibly can. You cannot force an outcome, you can only perfect your form, your effort, your process. And when you live this way, it leads to this incredibly freeing mindset. If you focus on your form, you do your absolute best, and the arrow happens to hit the bullseye, you get the promotion, the video goes viral, that's great. It's wonderful. Acknowledge it, be grateful, but don't let your ego claim it as something you were owed. Now here's the really hard part. If you focus on your form and the arrow misses, that's also good. Wait, what? How is that good? It's good because you did your job. You controlled the only thing you could ever control. So you accept the outcome, you learn from it, maybe you adjust your aim a little, and you simply get ready to shoot again.
So I want to leave you with this question. What is that arrow you're holding on to right now? That goal, that project, that leap you're refusing to take because you're terrified you might miss? What if you just stopped worrying about the target and instead just focused on your form, took a deep breath, and just let it fly? Knowing that once it leaves your fingers, it belongs to the wind.